All right, guys, as we finish up prejudging now, we're on that intermission 2 hour break before the finals. But what we have going on so far is a very interesting comparison and battle between one, Rolly Winkler, two, Hunter Labrada, and three, potentially, in my opinion, Brett Wilkins. Definitely one of the interesting picks that was coming into the show. A lot of people had him placing well at this show, but to see him potentially place in this top three is going to be very exciting for him, his camp, and any new bodybuilder coming up in the scene to really emphasize that opportunity that if you put in that work, if you don't know much about Brett Wilkins, he was turned pro 2019, I believe it was, competed once in the 212, completely outgrew his class, and then moved up to the open, taking 2 years, I believe, off before making his open debut at this year's Chicago Pro, looking absolutely diced and conditioned and very comparable to the rest of the competitors on the stage. But a lot of you want to know about Rolly, right? Rolly looks good. You can see in the footage we have playing right here, he does look good. One of you mentioned that he doesn't really flex that left leg much. It's kind of a give and take because when he does his front double here, he'll be having that right leg flared. But then when you see as they transition into this front lat spread, he'll flare the other leg. So I don't know if it's much of an injury that might have happened that's preventing him from flexing the leg, but more of just he wants to show a really balanced physique, and then he likes flaring that foot. So it really shows off a lot of definition, separation in those quads, and just the leg in general. So I don't have anything against it. I like how he does his shots. Hunter Labrada, I think, is a very solid second place pick. Could potentially beat him out in some of these shots, in my opinion. The front lat spread, as we see here, very comparable. What I wanted to point out was later in the prejudging, I don't have it in this video. You'll have to see it in the live stream by purchasing it. But Hassan Mustafa looked very comparable when they, right before they ended it, they had like kind of some weird three-person prejudging where they had Max Charles versus Hunter Labrada versus Brett Wilkins. They had like that, and then they had another one where it was three different guys. Very interesting, but what I took away from that was Hassan is very comparable to Rolly Winkler and actually is bigger than Rolly Winkler in certain shots. Now, there is more to bodybuilding than just mass, right? Here on the channel, we like to say bodybuilders need to have mass and class. Class is in conditioning, you know. So I like what I'm seeing here. The live stream was a little choppy, unfortunately, in some spots. As you can see, the playback is a little choppy from time to time, but Rolly, Hunter, and potentially a Brett Wilkins is going to be your top three. Now, Max Charles has been in that conversation. I had him in fifth, but it looks like he is hungry for a top four and potentially a top three finish here at the Chicago Pro. Wow, talk about line stepping. The whole class is just... They kept separating them 3, 4, 5 times throughout this show. And then Steve Weinberger had to keep bringing them back out because they kept coming back in. Max Charles was ridiculous about stepping that line and moving in and overlapping people and elbows. It was comical, honestly. I thought it was kind of funny watching it. But overall, everyone looked really, really good in this first call out. A lot of surprises, right? We had a much different looking top six than what we ended up seeing here on the stage. I had a feeling that we were going to see potentially Phil Klahar bounce in and out of this top six, potentially making some splashes here. That is not the case. It looks like he is going to be lucky with a top 10 finish here. So that really is unfortunate. We talked about myself and Ty Jordan over on the first episode of Monday Muscle. We talked about how he switched coaches and he was coming into the show potentially better than ever. I like what I see from him. His physique looks very comparable to his fourth place finish at the 2020 Tampa, but the lineup is definitely different this year here in Chicago. So that does play a massive part in how people place. Who else? Justin Mackey, Joe Mackey. I thought they were going to be in that top 8. They will be lucky to fight for that. It looks like they are getting kind of pushed out towards that 10th, maybe 9th place finish. Zach Merkel. We're not really seeing a lot of Zach Merkel here. He's also kind of in that back call out. Now, Mohammed Shaban on the left it looks like a neon green. It could be, maybe I'm colorblind, but all the way on the left, he has, for the most part, been on the outside this whole prejudging. It's just kind of unfortunate. He put on so much muscle in this last season that even when he comes in crazy, crazy conditioning, sometimes he just doesn't have that separation in that muscle that someone like a Rolly or even a Max Charles has. That seasoned veteran muscle, the mature muscle is what a lot of people like to call it. It's very apparent as we go through these shots. Same with Hassan Mustafa. That dude's 28 years old, and he has that much muscle on him. There's going to be issues with getting that separation and that conditioning. And it's been really the story of 2021 in the competitive season is every show Hassan shows up at, people just want to see him just a little bit more conditioned. And it just seems that he's just not hitting the mark. It'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting to see how he progresses through the years. He's a very young competitor. We've seen a lot of really, really successful younger competitors come through the scene. And the longer they get to compete, the better they get to go. I mean, look at Hunter Labrada, very young competitor, doing very well. Won his first pro show, placed, I think it was top 10. Yeah, I think he placed 8th at the Olympia this year. He placed, top 10 at his first Olympia, and now he's coming into his second pro show, fighting for that 1-2 spot. So it's very interesting to see. Make sure you stay tuned. We'll be covering the finals as soon as it comes out. Please buy the live stream so you can watch it yourselves, and then you can get my opinion on what you just watched. But that'll do it for another episode on the Bodybuilding News Network. My name is Sanch, your host. Thank you so much for watching another installment of Bodybuilding Today. If you enjoyed this style of content, consider subscribing. We have lots more coming out in the near future, and I'll see you guys at the finals.